Hello, survivors. Alex with Will You Survive the Podcast coming at you from my kitchen today. What we're going to be doing is going over what you can do with those canned goods that you stockpile. I know that when you gather all of your gear and you're stockpiling cans and dry goods, they do have a finite amount of time. Dry goods less than canned, but canned goods should be used within 5 years. So what do you do with them on the regular basis? What do you do with them in between those 5 years? Well, you don't have to let them go to waste. I'm going to show you what you can do with canned chicken, an egg, and mozzarella cheese. Now, if SHTF, you know that you may not have access to eggs or mozzarella cheese from the store. But if you have a stockpile of your canned chicken, guess what? You can use flaxseed as a substitute for egg. You use 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed to 3 tablespoons of water. You let it sit for about 10 minutes. It thickens. It becomes a paste. There's your binder. You don't need an egg. And you can make mozzarella cheese from home. You just need milk. You need an acidifier, lemon juice or vinegar. You let it curdle. And after you get it into its cheese state, you mix it with some salt. You strain it out. And you've got yourself some mozzarella cheese. So all 3 of these items you can use anytime if SHTF. So I'm going to show you how you can make chicken nuggets while everything is good so your canned goods don't go to waste in the pantry. You want to dry your chicken before you start mixing it with the egg and the cheese. And the reason you want to dry it is you don't want too much moisture to be inside of there. If there's too much moisture, they won't bind together well. They fall apart and they will crumble. We're going to use an air fryer to cook this, but you could cook it in the oven, you can cook it in a fryer, you can cook it on a pan, whatever you want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start mixing it in. I break up the chicken first. Now, if you make the mistake and your chicken isn't as dry as you would like it to be, what you can always do is add another pantry staple, breadcrumbs. They'll help absorb the moisture and they will help the binding agent, the egg. So we're going to go ahead and add our egg. My chicken is already dried. I already have it in the pan here. I just have the can up front there for you to view. It's chicken breast in water. You can get chicken breast in broth, but I prefer the chicken breast in water for this process. I tried the broth. It doesn't dry as well, and it can be a little bit of a problem. I'm going to move you closer here so you can see inside. And I got my egg, and we're going to go ahead and just add the cheese. It's just a half a cup of cheese and 1 egg. And remember, as I said before, you can always substitute flaxseed, which is a good binding agent. You can use applesauce, which would add a bit of sweetness to it, but it's not detrimental. So we're going to go ahead and mix these all up. Let's go ahead and combine. We want to break the chicken down. We don't want it to be clumpy. So we'll go ahead and do an extra mixy mix here. Make sure that it is nice and blended. And because there is egg in there, of course you're going to want to cook this thoroughly, even though the chicken breast is already cooked in the can. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of that to make sure we got it all incorporated throughout. We don't want any completely dry pieces of chicken for this. All right, I'm going to use a baking sheet to hold these on, and all we want to do is grab a little chicken nugget sized, just a chicken nugget sized glob of chicken and your mixture, right? Chicken, egg, and cheese. That's all this is. Chicken, egg, and cheese. I personally don't even add salt because chicken in a can is already salted. So you want to consider that when you're doing this. So we're going to go ahead and combine these tightly together. Press them so they're nice and formed. There's 1 chicken nugget. We got a nice little 8-piece chicken nugget set. We're going to air fry those now. Okay, we're preheating our air fryer. And this is all just 1 10-ounce can of chicken with 1 egg and a half a cup of mozzarella cheese. Remember, all of these can be stored for long term. If you're able to access a cool refrigerator, as long as the power grid is still up, and you make your own mozzarella cheese, most people know that even if your cheese starts to mold, you can cut it off. The soft cheeses are a little more problematic because oxygen can get inside. But as long as you're not getting rancid smells from it, you should be okay. Your cheddars, your harder cheeses are going to withstand mold much better. You'll be able to cut off the edges, so it's not a big problem. And you could substitute some other cheese or something else for cheese if you would like. I just like the flavor of the mozzarella cheese with the chicken. And I don't add any seasoning to this. The chicken in the can is heavily salted, so there's really no need. But you can add things like garlic salt, paprika, pepper. I will tend to mix this up at the end. After I fry it, I will bathe them in salt and pepper. That's when I like the flavoring to go on anyway. And then we just serve them with some barbecue sauce, which, if you know, you should be able to make any barbecue sauce or ketchup or anything of that nature at home if SHTF. You have tomatoes, some brown sugar, and some other key staples, and you can make your own barbecue sauce. But these are all the reasons why you want to keep your canned goods and your dry goods fully stocked. There's no reason to let them go bad and throw them out and get discouraged. You can still use them even when times are okay. But it's worth stocking up on so that way you're not without. And I'm going to be going through a whole series showing you guys how to make things from home, like toothpaste, mouthwash, contact lens solution, most breads, how many different things you can do with rice and pasta. So we'll go through a whole series of these that I could show you just with your dried goods, your canned goods, everything that you can make, and everything that is in a can, you can can yourself. So keep that in mind. Your fruits, your vegetables, you may need some equipment to do the vegetables, which is a pressure canner. But all in all, everything can be done at home with the right equipment and with the right tenacity. Okay, we're going to move over to the air fryer now. I have it heated up. So we're going to go ahead and toss these bad boys in there. Let's see if I can give you a view. Regular old air fryer, nothing fancy. And if you see that disgusting curdled stuff on the side, you might recognize that as kefir. I make my own. Nice hot air fryer. Oh, that one's falling apart. I'm going to try to reform that. Well, this one might fall apart in the air fryer, but that's okay. We're going to put it in anyway. Feels like it's already falling apart. We're going to put this in. We're going to go 375 for 6 minutes. Oops. And start. We'll come back and check on that when it's done. This is just about ready. We're at the halfway point. We will check to see what it looks like in here. Look at that. They're not done all the way. We still got to do a flip. Because of the cheese and the egg inside, they have solidified better together. But you got to make sure that you don't rip them apart because they will be slightly sticky to the air fryer pan because of their ingredients. So I break them free first before I just try to flip them. So you can kind of see how they're not quite done. But they don't need much longer. What we'll do is we'll throw them in for about 4 minutes on this turn. The next one was falling apart. It looks great now. Now what I did there was made sure that they were all spaced apart. Let's go back in. Same heat. We're going to go 375 for 4 minutes. And I'll see you guys in 4 minutes when this is ready to go. Alright, coming down to the last 10 seconds here. We're going to see what we got when we open this up. There we go. And see how I did. Not bad. There's a little bit of char. That's from the cheese, most definitely. I'm going to go ahead and just put those straight onto a plate. I will show you what they look like. I'm happy with these. Let's get ourselves just a touch of barbecue sauce, huh? Just a touch. I don't want to eat all of this. It's a good thick barbecue sauce. Okay. Let's give it a try. Oh yeah. I didn't even put the seasoning on it. I forgot. This tastes great. Guys, those are freaking awesome. No seasoning necessary. I wouldn't even touch them with anything else. If you don't like barbecue sauce, you could probably do ranch and they will taste amazing. I'm very happy with how they came out. Saving them for the kiddos. They're a bit too hot to give it to them right now. And we'll see how they enjoy them. And we'll check back in with you and see how it goes. Do you like it? You want to eat the whole thing? All right. One kid approved. What do you think of the chicken nuggets?
Delicious.
You like them?
Mm-hmm.
You like them with the barbecue sauce?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Another victory. So there you have it. Loved by children and adults. This is a success. If you have canned chicken, egg, and mozzarella cheese, make these chicken nuggets. They're a good way to keep that stock rotating out. If you like this video, please hit subscribe, like, leave a comment, and let us know what you think. We'll keep doing these series. Until next time, make sure you check out Will You Survive the Podcast anywhere you get podcasts.